Am I close enough? All right. Good evening, everyone. It's good to be here with you all. My name is Brauer. Okay, I won't touch it. I won't touch the mic. My name is Brauer. I'm one of the farmers and one of the directors of a program called the Indigenous Farm Hub. The Indigenous Farm Hub is a nonprofit organization that centers on bringing young people, indigenous families, indigenous farmers together to build healthy food systems, build prosperity for farmers, and to reconnect language and culture to land-based learning and healing that happens when growing food and being on the land. We started this in 2020. My boss, who's Navajo and Lakota, her name is Kara Bogrov. We were working at the public education department at the time, and then March 13, 2020, we all know what happened then. We got the call that said that we can't go up and work in person anymore in Santa Fe. I live in Old Town, and Kara lives in Corrales. And so we kind of put our heads together with some of the schools that we work closest to, including Native American Community Academy, a school that I used to work with before going to the education department. And we started thinking about how can we support our families who we're not sure what's going to happen within the next few weeks or months. Is it going to be a year where we're going to have like access point issues to foods and other things that we need? And so Kara was like, well, since you're a farmer, I was born and raised on a dairy farm in Maryland, and so farming is really in my bones, and I came out here in 2001 as a teacher. And Kara was like, can you like go back to your farm roots and start thinking about what like this third of an acre that I have behind my house that we can probably use to grow food for Naka families. And so I went up and looked at it. I was like, we can totally do this. We just need a rototiller, some drip tape irrigation. We got some water, and we ended up growing enough food for 25 families for 20 weeks, similar to a CSA model or a subscription of produce that you would receive 6 to 8 items each week for the entire season. And so we ended up doing that with our families. And as we went through that process, we also were thinking about how so many of the schools that we worked with, Kara and I worked for and helped found an organization called Naka Inspired Schools Network, which focuses in on creating schools of excellence and relevance in Native communities across the country, 6 of which are here in New Mexico. And one of the things that we kept on hearing from our schools, as well as the schools at the education department, was we have to focus a lot on academic preparedness and cultural relevance. But we also want to think about land-based learning. We also want to think about economic development and opportunities to connect young people to something that they to some type of vocation. And so, long story short, 2020 was a big year for us, where we kind of started reaching out to farmers and Native families to think through what a new organization could be. And so the Indigenous Farm Hub came out of that process. I didn't know what Zoom was until September 2020, and now it's just like part of our lives. So I talk to people, which is not my forte, to talk over the phone or in Zoom, but we ended up talking to several hundred different people, and we came up with the vision for the Indigenous Farm Hub. So right now we're in Corrales. We have a 17-acre farm there, and we also support another elder with about an acre of production behind your house. And we do farm-to-school activities with 7 different schools, ranging from San Domingo Elementary School and Cochiti Elementary School on the Pueblos, Naka, ACE Leadership, Siembra Leadership Schools. And we always have other schools who we can never say no to that want to come out for a day to visit the farm. So we do a lot of farm-to-school activities. We have some funding from the U.S. Department of Agriculture. We're hoping we're going to get another grant from them. They have a whole farm-to-school grant kind of sector, and that really helped us strengthen our curriculum and ensure that we were able to grow food that would get onto the lunch plates of the schools that we work with. So the other thing we do farmers and residents training. So we also received a Beginning Farmers and Ranchers Development Program grant from the USDA to help us create a curriculum a couple years ago for our Farmers and Residents program. We pay our farmers a $30,000 stipend for 20 weeks during the growing season, which we felt like it was really important for us to provide a fair wage, as many other fellowships that are out there, especially within education education, there's always like a nice carrot to show up to meetings and to get trained and learn a vocation, and we feel like it's right to do that same thing with our farmers. And so they're with us for 9 months throughout the year, so we're just launching that this month with them, and they'll be with us through December, and this is our third cohort that we do farmers in residence with. The purpose of our farmers in residence program is to have their knowledge come to us, our knowledge comes to them, we mix it up, we have a lot of circle of learning that's happening, but it's with the purpose of like growing food and getting it out to families who can really benefit from that. The last thing I wanted to share is that we also are a production agriculture farm, so we do a lot of educational stuff, but we do grow about 6 acres of produce every single year. We use all kinds of different processes to do that, different practices. We use indigenous ways of farming, and we also use new innovative ways with new technology because of climate change, because of the changing of how much water we receive. We also use different processes as well, and so we all kind of learn together to do that. But we serve about 150 families each week with the produce that we grow, and we're hoping to continue to support the state of New Mexico institutions as well through this program called New Mexico Grown, which I think is one of the niftiest things that has come out of the legislation with the governor's office that can really help us change what you shared, Pam, the idea of we grow all this food and we have all this milk and pecans and all of that, almost all of that goes to other places. And I get it, I understand why that is, but we have a great opportunity to grow a lot of our food locally here that can get into our schools, get into our senior centers, get into other institutions, and really benefit our economic stability here and support farmers for the work that they do. So I can talk more about some other programs that we've had within the USDA as well. But I did also want to share that Senator Lujan, Senator Heinrich, and Congresswoman Ledger Fernandez have all been super supportive of the Indigenous Farm Hub, both through funds as well as through letters of support as we try to receive additional USDA funds, and they're always there to support. And so if you have other projects that you're thinking about, and most of the time our Congress people will say yes to supporting you, and so that's something that I found really heartening as we continue to transform farming here in New Mexico.
Thanks, Alan. And I'll just turn a little bit